Hello, and welcome to class for the Texas A&M Commerce School of Social Work. I want this class to be a positive learning experience, and I want you to know I will do my best to support your learning and educational experience. First, let me introduce myself so you can get to know me a little better. I'm Dr. Benjamin May, your instructor for the course. I received my undergraduate in psychology and later completed my master's in social work from Washington University in St. Louis. After earning my MSW, I began an extensive career working with many fields and many positions in adolescent treatment centers, hospitals, correction facilities, psychiatric hospitals, hospice, and have been in private practice for the last 8 years. Even though I've worked with adults extensively, I eventually specialized in treating adolescents and children who have failed with other therapists who used poor or outdated forms of mental health interventions. I learned how to better help those difficult adolescents and children because of my strength-based therapeutic approach, which used these traumatized clients and helped them. I have extensive practice experience and will not only teach you theories, but actual practice, evidence-based knowledge, values, and skills to better train you to become the best social worker possible. I completed my PhD in social work in May 2006 in order to teach social work at the graduate level, even though I've been a clinician for most of my career. So teaching you to be the most effective social worker is the most important thing to me. You will find I am quite pleasant to get along with unless you do not follow or complete your work. I am fair and I want all of you to have a wonderful experience learning about what I love so much. Working as a social worker has given me an opportunity to not only be able to help others, but to have found my true purpose in life, therefore allowing me to reach my full potential. I wish the same for each and every one of you as you work to become the best trained and skilled social worker possible. If you have never had me as a professor before, you need to know I don't care much for personal drama and expect you to begin to improve your behavior as a professional and to become the best social worker you can be. This means that you are expected to treat me with the same respect I will give you. Remember, however you treat me is the same way you will treat your clients. Therefore, good social and problem-solving skills are expected. These guidelines will serve you well now and as a professional social worker. I'm very approachable and can be contacted by email at benjamin.may@tamuc.edu, as well as by telephone 903-886-5512. The most common way to contact me will be directly through your online class email, and the turnaround time is about 2 days. Meaning once you send me an email through your class communication, please allow 2 days for my answer. That time period does not include weekends, so if you email me on a Friday afternoon or later, do not expect a response until Tuesday. Once again, your emergency will usually be because you did not plan properly or soon enough to stop it from becoming an emergency. Remember, the same way you treat me will be the same way you treat your clients. Be prepared and proper. Some of you may have experience with online course material, and you will need a fair working knowledge of e-college to help you navigate through the coursework. There is a tutorial for you online for e-college, and if you have problems, whether your computer or other non-social work questions, please call the IT department for support. I am by no means a computer or e-college expert, so please direct your computer questions to the IT support group. I have taught online classes and know some of the problems you may face if you either have an old computer or a poor internet connection. So if you get behind on material presented or reading assignments, please go to the library or find a reliable computer connection immediately. I will not excuse you for either of these reasons because you were asked to procure both before entering graduate school. Next, you will need to download and print the syllabus and keep it close to you for constant viewing. The way I teach is outlined in the syllabus, but the flow of the class is up to you. I have outlined what I want you to read after viewing the videos and PowerPoints and when to take exams and journal, but the flow of the class may get behind the actual outline in the syllabus. So keep up and stay updated. Many of you may feel overwhelmed at first, and so I will update the announcement section as often as possible to answer any questions and to keep you started toward a positive learning experience. You will be expected to read the assignment text chapters, review the videos, PowerPoint presentations, visit and respond to assigned journal topics, and be ready to take exams on the announced date, which sort of follows the outline in the syllabus, meaning I will send an advance notice of most deadlines, but if you don't check your email regularly, you won't be able to keep up. Your exam will be timed, and once you start, you will not be allowed to stop or retake it, so be ready to cover all the material assigned before you start the exam. I've had trouble with students who have slow computers or bad internet connections, so please find a backup place to be able to go if you have problems. It would be a good suggestion to go to your backup computer place, like the library, and actually see how well that works. Practice will stop any emergencies you may have. If you miss the time window for any exams, for whatever reason, you will have to come to my office and take a paper exam, so please don't miss it. You usually have at least 4 days, so use your time wisely. That means from the time I put it up, you have 4 days to take it at your leisure. Remember that I'm much the same as you. I have emotions, fears, dreams, and hopes of this class being a great success to both of us. I do understand personal problems, but I also understand I find certain students seem to have the same type of emergencies over and over again. How you treat me now is how you will treat your clients in the future, so please be professional and proper. Please try to be honest with yourself in what your goals for this course are, as well as be honest with me. I can be your best support, or if left in the dark, just a sterile observer having to enforce the rules. I had students in the past classes who didn't complete their work on time and then expected me to correct it after the semester was about over. Therefore, I had to give them zeros for the missed work. Completing your work on time is your responsibility and therefore will not become my emergency. Complete all of your work before the semester is over. Remember, there is no record of it on the online memory, then I don't have a record of it and don't know that you participated in the activity. That's why I ask you to turn your papers in online, so I will have an electronic copy of the time to help you if there's a communication problem. My priorities in this class are not related to your grade, but to your ability to absorb the knowledge and show me the skills it takes for you to become the best social worker possible. It's just that simple. Please allow me to read you a letter I received from a past client. I am wanting you to understand that training you to be the best, knowledgeable, and skilled social worker is the most important thing to me in this learning process. I hope this letter tells you that you have to be the best trained to help those who need us the most, usually at-risk children and adolescents who many social workers and therapists just label as difficult clients. Dear Dr. May, I am writing this letter for a lot of reasons, and the main one is my teacher wanted us to write a letter to a person we admire the most. Most other students in my 11th grade class are picking their parents. She spelled their, T-H-E-R-E, and other famous people they want to be like. I'm being a little different because most of my life I felt different until I met you. You see, I also wanted to thank you for having changed my life. When I first came to you, I had seen many other therapists who ran all those stupid tests on me, and every one of them had some fancy name for what was wrong with me. ADHD, ODD, borderline, and bipolar were just a few I remember. With every new name came new pills, and my parents became more concerned and worried. You were different, and I still remember you escorting me and my family into your office, this red-faced, stocky, short man who seldom smiled. Right from the start, you seemed different. than those other therapists because you treated me like I actually was in the room. You asked me questions, not just my parents. I don't remember much more about the first visit other than you spent time alone with me so I could talk to you without my parents in the room. But before you asked my parents to come back into the room, you said to me, "Well, Elizabeth, do you want to change the way you're doing things in your life?" I was stunned. You explained how being depressed had made me act out, but if I wanted to learn a new way of doing things, you could teach me how. What about all that fancy names and pills? You said I would have to stay on the medication until my behavior showed improvement, but you said, let's just stick to the fact that I'm probably born with depression and it's treatable 95% of the time, if you follow the behavior modification chart and use your coping skills. I still have the first assignment you gave me to list 20 dreams I want to accomplish. You see, before meeting you, I felt broken and dark, and no one seemed to show anything toward me except anger. I felt out of control, but you showed me how to earn my things and that more freedom comes from showing responsibility. It seems like years I had to go every Saturday to your office, and we seemed to start over 100 times, but every time you just smiled at me and said, "Elizabeth, where do you want to begin again?" Or, how could I have handled that differently? It was then that I learned why you never smiled very much in the beginning. That was because, like everything else, I had to earn your smiles by showing you my progress. I know that sounds silly, but you were the only person to make me feel hope, and I never lost that hope as long as I could come back to your office and get some of that magic dust that came out of your office vents. I know now that helping people like me takes patience, and I want to thank you for being the person I admire the most. So much so, I think I want to go to school to learn how to help children who have depression and act out. I now have dreams and hopes, and I'm making really good grades in school. So thanks again for helping me and being the only person who seemed to believe in me. I'm now headed to college at Texas A&M, and like my dad, I'll be an Aggie. So gig 'em. Love you, Elizabeth. Just wanted to read that letter to allow you to be able to see that we as therapists and social workers sometimes make mistakes, and we need to be very well trained to work with those difficult clients. So I look forward to our journey together, and I send all of you luck and light. Thank you.